Hey, Straza, I got a personal fast market over here, so, you know.
Yeah, okay. You're not the only one making money, Big Shot.
I didn't say I'm making money. I just said I got a fast market. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Chicago Sean McLaughlin, joined as always by my man, Steve Straza. What's happening, Steve?
Not much, man. How are you?
Well, look, fair warning to the audience out there. Steve and I are both on tilt right now. Not only are we getting J-Powwed in the market, but we both are bonding over this. Look at this right here. This is a mound of raisins. Yeah. This was found in my trail mix I was just eating, and this is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I like my trail mix. I like my trail mix like I like my indexes equal weighted.
Well done. That's like straight out of my improv comedy routine right there. I like that. We do a little thing like that. I like my women like I like my blank, and we come up with someone gives us a noun. Anyway, that's another story for another time. Again, like I said, we're on tilt, folks. Straz and I are just going crazy. We were talking before we went live. My P&L personally today has been all over the place. I've been up, I've been down, I've been way up, I've been kind of down. Now I'm down again. We were up 5 minutes ago. What a crazy day in the market, huh?
Pull up, since you have the live charts, look at ARC, right? And
there's an intraday chart of ARC here on my screen right here.
Zoom way in on the daily, right? Because we are typically looking at daily charts here. This is what indecision looks like on a daily chart. Zoom in, even the last couple sessions.
Well, let's see. Here we go.
See those wicks in both directions?
Yeah.
Open in the close of the day, just like yesterday and the day before. Very close to one another. Buyers and sellers are really just battling it out. So you want to look at something like this. The time frame on this chart that you're showing is perfect. We've come off a low base, the December lows. We've really rallied nicely. And I'm using ARC as an example for what we're seeing in a lot of growth stocks right now. And now we're entering a period of digestion where we've had a lot of news come out since last week. We had the Fed, we had the ECB, we had the BOE, we had the employment report. Now we had Powell again today. And the market's just trying to digest it all. And it's doing so, in a very indecisive fashion. So when you see indecision like this, zoom out a little bit. Look at the tactical trend. We're coming off of a nice rally. Now we're going sideways. This is all just kind of, to me, this is standard digestion of the move we've seen since late last year.
And digestion is never pretty. And we're seeing it right here, right? I mean, we've had a big move, like you said, and it's better than just giving it all back. That would be not a good case for the bulls, but this whipsaw, as long as we can maintain and not break any significant support levels, not just an ARC, but in a wide variety of names here. This is kind of a necessary growing pain, right?
I think so. I think that's spot on. Like when you get a day like today, or even, a couple days like we've had since late last week, you want to take a step back, right? And put it in the context of the longer term trend, right? Whatever that time frame might be. So we're coming off of a nice rally. We've had a ton of bullish developments. We're going to talk about short squeezes today. A lot of the junkiest stocks are just ripping. We can point to a lot of bullish things. Okay, a couple days of sideways, even a couple weeks of sideways, coming off of the past couple weeks or the type of price action that we've recently seen is not the worst thing.
Well, this is the Flow Show, and we like to look into unusual options activity and see if that can lead us into any trade ideas. So why don't we start there, Straza? Brandon, why don't you pull up Straza's chart? Let's look at that unusual options activity and see if there's anything there that is worth jumping into.
So they were fading, and I told you about these put contracts when they came across my scan last week. They were fading ARC Thursday of last week. So calls on the bid, 48 strike, February 17th last week. So that really stood out.
They look like winners at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah, right. And maybe that was the trade, right? The ARC went crazy last week. Maybe they were just fading that. They could already be out. Bed Bath & Beyond, interestingly enough, was up.
Which, hold on, quick little side note, because you said a key word there. Maybe the people trading ARC were fading the move. And guys, if you're someone who likes to fade moves if you want to catch a turn in a market, sometimes just buying simple calls or simple puts is the best way to do it because you can very clearly define your risk. I mean, just ask anybody who tried to short GameStop or GameStop. What's that company called? GameStop. I mean, just ask anybody who tried to short GameStop on the way up when that thing was going crazy. If you were shorting that with stock, you got railroaded. You got ran over. But if you were buying puts to fade it, at least you were in the game.
It's a great point. I use that a lot. If you're betting on a big directional move, you want to be in the derivatives. A lot of times you can build a position in the common, but if you really think something big is coming, another thing I do is I'll add like what I call a kicker, and I'll buy a couple just naked calls or something, right? Just because like I have more conviction at that moment and that level for whatever reason, and I want to have more exposure. And that's like long calls are just great for that.
Right. Especially because you could do it much cheaper and without adding a whole lot more risk to your position.
So, some other things that stood out. You're talking about TJ Maxx. They were on the list for bullish flow. Doesn't look so good. Looks like it's stalling out a bit, right?
Yep, that's a sore subject. That's a stock I've got a position in right now. I've got a bullish trade on there, and it's just it's been frustrating me over the last 3 weeks.
All right, we'll move on then. We don't need to.
Thanks for sparing my feelings there, Straza.
All right, we'll do another retailer. This one, I might be a little bit biased. I am a satisfied customer. This is Chewy Inc. CHWY. It's the online pet retailer. Look at this base. What do you think?
That's a beautiful base.
And it's been popping up on more than one scan. So when I saw Chewy, when I saw the bullish options activity in Chewy last week, I thought, well, how interesting. There's a 26% short interest in the name right now. This is our freshly squeezed scan. We're just looking at the most heavily shorted stocks in the market in this scan with market caps above. I think we're doing 500 million because I wanted Silvergate on there. So Chewy, 26% short interest, 6 days to cover.
That's a very tasty morsel right there, Straz, especially when you couple it with that chart where if we get up above that 52 level, I mean, those shorts are going to be in a world of hurt. And the only way to end that pain is to buy stock to cover your position, which just adds fuel to the fire.
And, I've been going through the list of the most shorted stocks, and most of them don't look anything like this. They're treading water near new lows. They're in nasty downtrends. This is a beautiful base. We've been building out this rounding bottom formation for 12 months now. Looks ready to go. We've already tested this 52 level, the breakout zone, several times now. If this thing starts moving and you get a trend reversal completed here, throw that short interest on top of it, the squeeze could be on. I think this is by far the best looking name on this week's list.
And you know what, from an options trading perspective, I'm loving this setup because not only do we have everything that you just laid out, but we've got earnings out of the way. Our earnings last reported on December 8th. So they should be good for at least another month. You know what? Let me, in the interest of fair, proper disclosure, let's look it up. No, I don't even see earnings scheduled for Chewy. So we don't have earnings to worry about anytime soon. And most importantly, look at this implied volatility. It's scraping the lows for the past year. This is a whole year's worth of implied volatility readings right here. We are at the lowest levels. Short squeeze, cheap calls. I love it, Straza. Love it.
To answer your question, earnings are not until the end of March. At least that's what they're forecasted to come out.
Right.
So 2 months, totally out of the way. You have a beautiful base that's literally, challenging the upper bounds right now, about to resolve higher. The shorts start covering. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. No, I like this a lot, Straza. This is a simple buy some calls. Let's go further dated out. Let's go. Let's look at the options chain here. I mean, we could go into January. We could buy
25s.
The 25 deltas. The 25 delta would be the 75 strike in January, which seems really far away. 75 strike calls in January. They would cost us about $320.
Big move.
Yeah, that does feel a little rich. That does feel a little rich. Doesn't mean it can't work. It doesn't mean we can't make money, but I might have to rethink this one. I still like the trade. That just might not be the right strike or expiration to go after. Maybe the move is if we got earnings coming up in March.
Yeah, don't go out that far. Come in a little bit. Bet on this base resolving higher in the near term, maybe.
Right. What I was thinking is maybe we could use that earnings event as a catalyst to really get this thing moving, and we could define our risks by just buying cheap calls right now. So let's say the stock's at 46 right now. I don't normally buy options with this kind of high delta, but if you bought like the 50 calls right now, you could get them for about 6.25. Let's say if you paid the offer, the 50 strike, that's less than $4 away out of the money. And we got till July, which earnings happens between now and then. Earnings could be the catalyst to really send this thing really breaking out of that base. These 50 calls could pay, and they could pay nicely. I don't usually like buying that close to the money. I mean, if I'm going to buy it close to the money like that, then I'll usually do some kind of spread where I might sell a further out of the money call, make it a vertical spread. And maybe that's not even a bad idea, because looking at this right now, the 70 calls, they're getting about $1.50 in premium. I could buy the 50s, sell the 70s.
Yeah.
And that would cost me about, I don't know what, $4.75 approximately. And if the thing moves, the spread could be worth $20 potentially.
I think that's a much better way to play it.
There's a surprising amount of premium in those out of the money calls, considering that volatility is so cheap right now. I'm sure a smarter options person than me will have a very good answer to that. So please hit us up on Twitter and let us know why this might be the case.
It's like they're betting on a big move for this one. I mean, to me, somebody who doesn't know too much, they're really pricing in some juice into these things. Listen, it's how big is Chewy? Chewy is not a small stock anymore.
No.
$18.5 billion. So, I mean, this is a real company with real profits. Trust me, they bring pretty litter like constantly. I like this. And look, we are looking through our universes of growth stocks over and over and over again these days, because these stocks are moving. And these are the ones that you want to buy. They look like Chewy, right? Whether it's Peloton, Chewy, Shopify, it's these nice reversal patterns that have been basing for 8, 10, 12 months now. Those are the ones you want to be buying on these upside resolutions. I think Chewy happens any day now. So I'll leave crafting the strategy to you. I like this trade a lot, Straza. And I think this might be a trade I'm going to put on tomorrow. I mean, we're getting close to the end of the trading day here today. So I want to let this one marinate in my brain a little bit. But stay tuned on my Twitter stream. We'll have an idea on this potentially tomorrow. I do like this one. And these are the stocks also, like, if we take a step back, that's what's been going on for the past 2 weeks. Every day, the biggest story is, what was the short squeeze of the day? Bed Bath & Beyond was up 100% yesterday. Company's going bankrupt. Was it really? I mean, I knew that it was up. It was up 100%? 92%, I think it closed. And it gave it all back today. Yeah. So, that's the environment we're in. So if you can find one that, this is a legitimate company. This is a real company. So I'm not talking about Bed Bath & Beyond here. This is Chewy. It's funny, though, Ryan Cohen is very involved in both companies, right? Meme stock, activist, investor. He just took a position in Nordstrom. Did you see what happened to Nordstrom the other day? Punch it in. JWN. Ooh, so that was just because news that he took a position? Yeah. And what he does is he takes his position. He knows the stocks are heavily shorted. He knows they're beaten up. And then he must sell into it. He's playing the Reddit army is what you're saying. Yeah. From what I heard, Wall Street Journal didn't know how they heard the news. So it's one of those. We'll let the SEC sort that out. Haven't really come after him yet. It's amazing. For all the names he's been involved in, it's really crazy. But he's like this retail activist investor now. He's got GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond. He's the founder of Chewy. I guess it's Worst thing to
All
be
right.
in.
Well, look, Straza, before we went live, I was telling you how Shawnee over here is experiencing a personal fast market. So unless you got any other great ideas, I love this Chewy idea. I think maybe we should end it here. We can get back and finish this trading day. What do you think?
Go for it. Market's moving. Indecision.
Indecision. Brandon, who works behind the scenes here, we've kept him long enough. He had to listen to Straza and I just go full tilt for about 15 minutes before we actually went live. So we'll end the pain for Brandon as well. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is the Flow Show. I'm Chicago Sean. That's Steve Straza. We're from All Star Charts. Hope you guys have a great trading day. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.